Shut up and sit down. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. This is episode number 21. That's 2-1 of the Baseball and Beer podcast. I am your host. My name is Brendan Bowes, and I am the one to be leading you around the world of both baseball and beer. Two of my favorite things. Hopefully spread some education, drop some knowledge, and most of all, entertain all you people who are listening to me. 21 episodes. It still doesn't feel real as we get as these episodes come out. It's always a pleasure to stand behind this microphone and talk about two of the things I enjoy talking about, baseball and beers. So if you ever want to get in touch with me, be it questions, comments, positive or negative, or anything else you want to discuss, there are several ways to reach out to me and get in touch. The first is through email. Email address is baseballbeerpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to check out Facebook, find me on Facebook. It is simply facebook.com/baseballbeerpod. That is also the Twitter handle that I use, baseballbeerpod. And if you want to certainly find me on, go to the website, in which case you can find all previous episodes of the Baseball and Beer podcast, and where you can go every Wednesday to, I'm sorry about that, my cat is being an asshole. If you want to go to the website to listen to previous episodes, or just want to keep on refreshing it Wednesday afternoons until the new episode pops up, that is also acceptable, and that can be done at baseballandbeerpodcast.blogspot.com. Also, if you want to subscribe on iTunes, you certainly can do that. I am obviously there. You can download my podcast there. My logo is simply a silly looking stuffed penguin stuffed inside my Jeep. So just be on the lookout for that. And you can subscribe. You can download each episode whenever you want to. Traditionally what you do on iTunes. So quick note before we get down to business. This Saturday and Sunday, I will be attending the Beyond Wrestling Double Shot Weekend. First time let me rephrase that. On Saturday, they're in Providence, Rhode Island, like they've always been. Sunday afternoon, they're coming up, and they are in Somerville for the first time ever. I believe the venue is called the Armory, or the Armory of the Arts. But I'm planning on going to both shows. Actually, planning's not the right word. I have tickets to both shows. So next week is probably going to be a little bit dedicated to wrestling. Now, we've gone through this before. It's neither baseball nor beer, but it's my podcast, my rules. I can change whatever I want. So just wanted to give you guys the heads up. You have a week to prepare. I'll talk about it when it feels comfortable next week during the podcast, but it'll probably take up a good time. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Didn't want you suddenly listening to what you thought was the wrong podcast. Beer is good, beer is good, beer is good, and stop. So 2 weeks ago, I was talking about some good pumpkin beers that are out there in the world that I would suggest you try, that I would like. Maybe you wouldn't like it. Maybe there are others that you like that I don't. But one of the beers that I was talking about was Dogfish Head's Pumpkin Ale. So I kind of wanted to expand on that for a couple of reasons. One, I like I said, I liked it. It's a very good pumpkin beer, at least for me. And two, I hope you know where this is going if you were listening to last week. Let's see if I can get this on mic. Yep, I have one in my hand right now. We are going to do another live taste test. So let me get this set up for myself. I'm pouring the beer into my Jack's Abbey mug. Trying to name drop whatever I can, whoever I can. All right, so immediately the cinnamon is kicking the forefront in terms of scent. I mean, this is your traditional brown ale, just a bunch of pumpkin ingredients stuffed in there, but the cinnamon is really kicking there. Cinnamon and nutmeg, actually. It's not sweet though, which is a good thing. It's potent, but it's not sweet, so that's a plus when it comes to the smell in terms of stuff that I like. It doesn't foam as much as you would like it to, but I don't know, if you're drinking pumpkin beer, you probably don't give a crap. Nice dark brown, clear, very clear. Looks very thin, shallow. I don't know what the proper phrasing for that is, but again, it smells great, and it tastes good too. Like I said, it has the cinnamon, the nutmeg. There's a little bit of brown sugar in there, obviously the pumpkin taste, but it's not sweet. It's like a malted version of pumpkin pie, I guess. That's probably the best way to explain it, because there's very little hops in this. That's kind of why I know the joke out there now is pumpkin spice this, pumpkin spice that, pumpkin flavored this, pumpkin flavored that, but I don't care so much about pumpkin flavored coffee, whatever, or anything like that, but pumpkin beer, that's usually the only thing I would drink seasonal for the fall. But it's very good. It goes down quickly and easy. I'll leave you leave you jokers to make that joke on your own. And unlike shake that I did last week, the flavor is consistent through the few sips that I've already had. It's last week when I tried shake, it went from a heavy chocolate flavor to turning into more malted caramel type flavor as I was getting further into the pint. However, this time on pumpkin ale, it is still the same malted pumpkin taste. Several sips in, compared to the first one, it's still the same. Yeah, it's very good. It's really all I can say about it, although I really do like the 2015 bottle label. It's how do I describe this? It's basically like a Marilyn Monroe type model, short hair, and it looks like an evening dress with their back to us, and she's just covered in tattoos. It is very attractive, and there's a pumpkin patch behind her, which is very different than what they did last year, which is just an orange label, flat orange color with says pumpkin ale on it. So it's definitely an extreme change for what they did last year in terms of labels. Beer tastes the same, outside of maybe a few minor changes, but really it's still a good beer. I still stand by what I was saying before. Excuse me. What I was saying 2 weeks ago in regards to it. Still a solid beer. Still a top-notch seasonal or fall seasonal beer, and it's available everywhere. It's probably one of the more popular ones out there. So if you do see it, certainly buy it. It comes in a 4-pack, and give it to anyone that likes pumpkin beer, and they'll enjoy it. It doesn't have that sweet, overly sensation to it. It's just a good malted pumpkin. Like I said before, good malted pumpkin pie taste. So I am going to put you guys on a little bit of hold while I finish the rest of this pint. So just bear with me for a little bit. All right, so I am back, and as expected, the taste just didn't change throughout the entire pint. It was still malted pumpkin pie throughout the entire drink, which is great. That's how I want it, and that's how I would describe it to everyone who is curious about giving it a shot. So, to recap, this was Dogfish Head's Pumpkin Ale, Punkin, or yeah, Punkin Ale. It's their fall seasonal, their pumpkin beer. My personal opinion, like I've said numerous times, it's one of the better ones out there, just because it's a malted pumpkin pie taste. It's not too sweet. It's not hoppy. It's right in my wheelhouse of how I like my beer. So, excuse me. So that's my review of it. How do I rank it to shake? That's kind of a difficult question because we're talking about two different types of beers. One's a chocolate stout, chocolate porter, and this one is a pumpkin beer. It's really tough to rank two separate beers or two different types of beers on the same ranking system because you drink different types of beers for different types of situations, different types of preferences. It's tough. Like, I can't say that I would rank, a barley wine over a stout, even though I do prefer barley wines over stouts, but I can't rank, X barley wine against Y stout because they're two different tastes. It's easier to rank stouts over stouts, porters over porters. Well, porters and stouts are kind of the same thing, but, porters and stouts over other porters and stouts, barley wines over other barley wines, stupid beer like Budweiser over Coors, over Miller, over Pabst Blue, over Schlitz, you know what I'm talking about. So, eventually I'll just start naming all the beers out there. So go out, pick up a 4-pack, enjoy it while watching the leaves change and the fall weather starts rolling in. Speaking of which, I can't believe it's fall. It's still, it's 70s right now, but it's supposed to get back up there next week, which sucks. But I enjoy having my windows up, not having to worry about central air costing electricity. Spending electricity rather. So I prefer it, in the low to mid 70s. That's perfect weather because I don't break a sweat walking to my car because But enough about that. So yeah, pumpkin ale. Like I said, grab a 4-pack, enjoy fall, watch it with football, rather than drinking a Bud Light, that sort of thing. You'll thank me later, or you can thank me now, or you can thank me when you drink it. So drink it.
Single, double, triple, home run. For the celebration, I'll shoot my gun.
So we're going to start off baseball news on a sad note. One of baseball's most outgoing personalities, Yogi Berra, passed away last night at the age of 90. Yogi Berra is most popular known as pitcher. Jesus Christ. Most notably known for being a catcher for the Yankees. I believe he spent time on the Mets too. I'm going to double check that. All right, so yeah, he played for the Mets for 4 games, only because he was the manager and wanted to put himself in there. Well, not manager, he was a coach under Casey Stengel, but he certainly was on the management squad of the Mets, but he was a player on the Yankees. I should have known that. But he is one of the more charismatic baseball figures that have been out there. He's known for his quotes, his sayings, like if you run into a fork in the road, take it. Baseball is, 99% mental, 25% physical, that sort of thing. You certainly know Yogi Berra if you saw him. He's everyone loved him. Number 8 is one of the more popular Yankee players, especially probably one of the more well-liked Yankee players by non-Yankee fans. So sad to see him go. He did a lot for the sport of baseball. someone I never met myself, never seen play, obviously, but he's going to be remembered as someone who did a lot for baseball. So rest in peace, Yogi. We're going to miss you. On the lighter side of baseball news, on Saturday, a pointless, meaningless game between the San Francisco Giants and the Oakland Athletics is turning into somewhat of a news story because famous old pitcher Barry Zito is pitching against his old former teammate Tim Hudson. To put it in perspective, these guys, both of them, first started pitching back when our president was a Democrat and was not Barack Obama. So I just take a moment, let that sink in, and you'll realize how long these guys have been pitching. So it's going to be interesting to see how two, I want to say 40-year-olds, but I feel like 40. Yeah, they're both 40. So that makes me feel a little bit better saying that, but it should be fun watching them pitch against each other, throwing their blazing 89-mile-per-hour fastball with their sinkers and changeups that don't do anything. Barry Zito, of course, being on the Athletics for a long time, hitting free agency, going to the Giants, and getting an insanely huge deal that he probably didn't deserve, and then instantly shitting the bed, not even coming close to performing it. Hudson also started with the Athletics, went to the Braves for a long period of time, and has spent the last 2 seasons in San Francisco pitching for the Giants, while Zito was just signed, I believe, to a minor league contract by the Athletics this year. Has been pitching in the minors for a little bit. Been recently called up. He might have pitched a game or two already, but everything's getting set for this Saturday's game as Tim Hudson is taking him out against his old former roommate. They might have roomed together, who knows, but his old former teammate, Barry Zito. So that should be interesting, albeit maybe just fun to watch. It's certainly not going to be a good game, but it'll be entertaining. So if you're in the Bay Area and are able to watch it, certainly give it a shot. If I'm around, I doubt it, but if I'm around Saturday, I'll certainly turn the game on, give it a watch, have a nice little laugh, and enjoy pitchers pitching in the year, or pitchers who started back in the year 2000 or 1999. So should be a good time. Next week, I'll probably go over all the awards, at least, thoughts and feelings on who I think will take home each award, from, Rookie of the Year to Manager of the Year to MVP to Cy Young. So be prepared for that. If I have time after talking about Beyond Wrestling's Double Shot forever. But again, if you want to share your thoughts with me, want to let me know who you think is going to take those awards home, you can certainly send me an email. Again, baseballbeerpodcast@gmail.com. And, I'll certainly take that into consideration as I go over mine, or at least we can go back and forth via email, see if we can persuade the other one, depending on where we stand. But that's what I plan on doing next week. But as for this week, let me rant about the White Sox a little bit. Currently, they're playing right now. I don't have the game on, obviously, because I am doing this. But I've been keeping my eye out on the ESPN ticker. Currently, they are down 5-0 to the Detroit Tigers. Which isn't a big deal. Really the only thing of note is that the White Sox have put Frankie Montas on the mound. Frankie Montas on the mound. He is a quote-unquote prospect for the team. Came into the season as what everyone was planning to be a top-notch reliever, but he's getting a start because apparently some people think that he can do that. From what I've read, he never should have been considered as a starter. But when you're in the minors and you're pitching well, people are going to think what they want to think, regardless of the actual scouting. So he's taken the mound, and he's obviously not doing very well, which is good for a laugh, only because I know everyone was talking highly of him this season in the minors. With pitching prospects, it's really tough to just look at what they're doing in the minors and consider them good, because they're dealing with a lot of scrub hitters, especially in AAA. So you really need to take in consideration what the scouting reports say about a player. In Monta's case, I believe his fastball is good. His fastball has movement, but he doesn't have a great secondary pitch. So when you're a starting pitcher, you need 3 good pitches, or at least 1 elite pitch, 2 good pitches, and another one that you can at least throw once in a while. Just because as a starter, obviously, you're going through you're going through the lineup more than once. So you want to be able to keep batters guessing all the time, because they're going to be facing you more than once. That's in a vacuum. If you don't have 3 or 4 good pitches and have to rely on 1 pitch, maybe 2, you're easier to figure out, you're easier to be hit against, easier to have runs scored on you, and that's what we're looking at right now with Frankie Montas, because he's getting slaughtered. 5-0 in the 3rd inning is not solid, and it's not. They're playing the Tigers, who haven't been doing well this season. The White Sox are actually playing better. They have a better record than the Tigers. Offensively, the Tigers haven't been doing well, and their best offensive hitter, Miguel Cabrera, isn't even starting. So just going through the process in my head of what this means, because Montas is... A lot of people look to him as the future, but he's going to be a reliever, which is fine. He's a good, if he's a top-notch reliever, then that's great. But he shouldn't have been bringing in this much. What's the word I'm looking for? Garnered this much attention is probably the best thing to say. It's nothing against him. It's just the way he was scouted and the way fans want to look at everything and want to make sure. Again, I'm not sure how to phrase this properly without sounding like a total ass, but you really don't want... I've said this before, not all prospects are going to be good, regardless of how they played in the minors. They're prospects for a reason. They have the potential to be good, but I've said this before, my motto is, your prospect sucks. Excuse me for 1 second. And the reason for that is because if you look at the generalities of minor league baseball, there's so many minor league teams, and all those minor league teams have so many players, and obviously it's easier to separate the better players from the bad players. And since the number of really good players is on such a smaller scale, the people who are at least above average tend to stick out as well. So, it's like an 8th grader going to pitching against a bunch of elementary school kids. And then that same 8th grader then going against the high school varsity team. That's what's happening here. And Montas, he should, like I said, he should be a very solid reliever. I hope that's where he sticks, but he's not going to be a starter. I hope this start, makes people believe that, but as for me, it's something that I've known for a while, and hopefully this gets into people's heads that you can't take minor league numbers to heart. So that's the White Sox rant for the day. All right, that brings us to the end of episode number 21 of the Baseball and Beer podcast. Again, if you ever want to reach out to me, I am about to give you the ways to do so. If you want to send me an email, again, if you want to discuss end of the year baseball awards with me or anything you've heard, I can be reached at baseballbeerpodcast@gmail.com. If you would like to join the Facebook group, it is facebook.com/baseballbeerpod. At baseballbeerpod is also the Twitter handle that you could reach me at. And of course, if you want to visit the website where all the previous podcasts are located, if you do not want to subscribe to me on iTunes, or you could do both, you could do none, whatever you want. But again, if you want the website, it is baseballandbeerpodcast.blogspot.com. Again, baseballandbeerpodcast.blogspot.com. So, again, I want to thank everyone for listening to episode number 21 of the Baseball and Beer podcast. Next week, again, I will be going over the end of the year baseball awards and talking about the double shot weekend of Beyond Wrestling, where Biff Busick will say farewell as he goes on to the greener pastures of Stamford, Connecticut. So, thanks everyone. Have a good week.
Are you excited?
I'm so excited.
Awesome.
I do not like Julia Roberts movies.